today we're going to be doing a foam rolling for your hips and pelvis. This is to release tension all around the hip region. You're going to need a 3-foot foam roller, and you're also going to need some mats. If you're at home and you don't have mats, just put down some towels, something that makes you feel comfortable when you're lying on the floor. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Sit down on the foam roller. We're going to cross, let's start with one leg. We're going to cross one leg over the other. We're going to place the hands behind. We're going to lean into the leg that's crossed over. And we're basically going to give a massage to some tight muscles that are in the back of the hip. What you want to slowly do is work back and forth over that region, finding first where the tight muscle is. When you find that tight muscle, it'll be pretty painful. That's how you know you're there. After this is feeling a little bit more loose, we're going to continue on through the hip. We're going to straighten that same leg that was crossed over. We're going to straighten it under, and now we're going to cross the other leg over. We're going to find a region that's pretty tight in the side of the hip. Have a lot of the foam roller ahead of you so that you can actually eventually rest this leg down on top of the foam roller. Once you can find that spot, you can stay here on your forearm and just hold. You can also work slightly up and down, massaging the muscle. Here, if you can, comfortably, light all the way down on the side. From here, you would rest on this tight, tense muscle that should be pretty painful. After you've released some of this side tension, you're going to go ahead and cross this top leg all the way over and rest it on top of the foam roller. You'll feel slightly changed position in the hip. Find that spot that's tight again. Once here, you can play around with the bottom leg, dropping the knee slowly. That's your back knee. You can drop your back knee slowly to the mat. Once you've dropped that knee to the mat, you can also slowly bring the bottom leg forward. If it feels an increase of tension, stay there for 2 to 3 minutes. If you're not feeling a lot when you brought your knee forward, go ahead and extend your leg, slight bend in the knee, and still the bottom knee rested on the mat. Extend the leg slightly behind you. If you, as I feel here, more tension in that hip, you're going to want to stay here again. What I want you to do is breathe deeply. It's going to help you with the pain that you're feeling in the hip as you're releasing these tight muscles. Take a nice big inhale and a nice big exhale. Again, keeping that leg, you can bring that leg even further behind you as your hip flexor releases. You can also bring the leg above the ground. You can keep extending that leg. Bring that leg back to its central position. You can go ahead and find the spots that are most tight for you. You can also go back to that straight leg again, which again can be pretty painful again. So breathe when that happens. And let's for a little while just rest that leg back down on the mat. And let's do a rotation. So not only will this release tension in your hips, this will also help you release tension in your spine, as this is a spinal twist. So from here, you would rest your whole upper body towards the mat. Body, bend the knee, bring the knee forward, hold that knee forward for about, again, 2 to 3 minutes, especially if it's tight, longer. Then back to your extension phase where your leg goes behind you, abs tight, and rest down. From here, you want to make sure that you don't rotate too far with your upper body. So you don't want to be facing your pelvis all the way down to the ground. Notice that my pelvis is slightly towards you and my upper body is then rotated towards the ground. That'll give you a nice stretch all throughout your torso, and will also keep the tension right on the tight muscle on the foam roller. So here, if it's tight, you'd breathe again 2 to 5 minutes. You'd also work with variations of straight legs here, and breathe. Inhale and exhale. With every inhale and every exhale, relax more of your shoulders and upper back and neck. Inhale and exhale. So after you've found all those tight muscles, you can slowly just come off of your foam roller. So we just finished foam rolling on one side of your body. You're going to want to repeat that, all the variations, finding all of the tightnesses of the opposite leg. You're going to spend less or more time depending on how tight the hip is. What I recommend you do is, if this is your first time doing this type of tension release, start slow, do the smaller recommendation times. You want to release this tension for a couple of days in a row. As the muscles of your hips and pelvis release, you want to focus on strength training your abdominals and re-strengthening your muscles appropriately. You want to do your squats and your lunges and your abdominal and low back exercises. As you begin to feel tightness in the hips, in the pelvis, low back, or knees, you want to get back on this program again for a couple of days. Once your muscles are always stretched and lengthened and not tight around the pelvis, you can just do this as needed. So stay tuned for more foam rolling techniques and also some of my abdominals and low back strengthening.